Hi there. We're going through the New Testament in the order that things actually happened. The events happened in chronological order. I'm trying to keep it that way. And yesterday we did the Sermon on the Mount, the whole thing. All right. Today we're going to Matthew 8, 1 through 13, and Luke chapter 7. So let's go to Matthew 8. Just 13 verses, right? Just this part right here. Okay, Jesus cleanses a leper. When he came down from the mountain, great crowds followed him, and behold, a leper came to him and knelt before him, saying, Lord, if you will, you can make me clean. And Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, I will be clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Jesus said to him, See that you say nothing to anyone, but go and show yourself to the priest and offer the gift that Moses commanded for proof to them. Right? But he did anyways, right? So that didn't say it here, but in the other books it said. We read the same story already. Faith is this of a centurion. When he entered Capernaum, a centurion came forward to him, appealing to him, Lord, my servant is lying paralyzed at home, suffering terribly. And he said to him, I will come and heal him. But the centurion replied, Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but only say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I too am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I say to one, Go, and he goes, and to another, Come, and he comes, and to my servant, Do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard this, he marveled, and said to those who followed him, to his disciples, right? Truly I tell you, with no one in Israel have I found such faith. Right? Amazing, huh? I tell you, many will come from east and west, and recline at a table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven, while the sons of the kingdom will be thrown in outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And to the centurion Jesus said, Go, let it be done for you as you have believed. And the servant was healed at that very moment. Right? Okay, so that's all we're reading in there today. Like this, so you just know where we're at, right? Now we're reading Luke chapter 7, and it's probably the same thing, huh? You think? Let's find out. Luke chapter 7, yep. Jesus heals a centurion. So, that is a long, the whole chapter, huh? Yep. The whole chapter. So, here we go. Same thing. After you have finished all these sayings in the hearing of the people, right, to finish a Sermon on the Mount, he entered Capernaum. Now a centurion had a servant who was sick at the point of death, and he was highly valued by him. When the centurion heard about Jesus, he sent to him elders. I say this is different, right? Different account. Elders of the Jews asking him to come and heal their servant. And when they came to Jesus, they pleaded with him earnestly, saying, He is worthy to have you do this for him. He loves our nation, and he is the one who has and he is the one who built us our synagogue. And Jesus went with them. When he was not far from the house, the centurion sent friends, saying to him, Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. Therefore I did not presume to come to you. But say the word, and let my servant be healed, for I too am a man set under authority, with soldiers under me. And I say to him, Go, and he goes, and another, Come, and he comes, and to my servant, Do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him. And turning to the crowd that followed him, he said, I tell you, not even in Israel have I found such faith. And when those who had been sent returned to the house, they found the servant well. Different account, same story. Like two witnesses telling the same story. It's going to be different. Jesus raises a widow's son. Soon afterward, he went to a town called Nain, and his disciples and a great crowd went with him. As he drew near to the gate of the town, behold, a man who had died was being carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow. And a considerable crowd from the town was with her. And when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her and said to her, Do not weep. Then he came and touched the bier, and the bearer stood still. And he said, Young man, I say to you, arise. And the dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother. Fear seized them all, and they glorified God, saying, "A great prophet is risen among us, and God has visited his people." And this report about him spread through the whole of Judea and all the surrounding country. Yeah, something like that's going to get around, huh? Messengers from John the Baptist. And the disciples of John reported all these things to him. And John, calling two of his disciples to him, sent to them, sent unto the Lord, saying, "Are you the one who is to come, or shall we look for another?" And when the men had come to him, they said, "John the Baptist has sent us to you, saying, Are you the one who is to come, or shall we look for another?" In that hour he healed many people of diseases and plagues and evil spirits, and on many who were blind he bestowed sight. And he answered them, "Go tell John what you have seen and heard. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised, and the poor have good news preached to them. And blessed is the one who is not offended by me." Right. The Pharisees and Sadducees and the scribes were very offended by Jesus. Right? When John's messengers had gone, Jesus began to speak to the crowds concerning John. "What did you go out to the wilderness to see? A reed shaken by the wind? What then did you go out to see? A man dressed in soft clothing? Behold, those who are dressed in splendid clothing and live in luxury are in king's courts. What then did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I tell you, and more than a prophet. This is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before your face, who will prepare your way before you. I tell you, among those born of women, none is greater than John. Yet the one who is least in the kingdom is greater than he." When all the people heard this, and the tax collectors too, they declared God just, having been baptized with the baptism of John. But the Pharisees and the lawyers rejected the purpose of God for themselves, not having been baptized by him. Right. To what then shall I compare the people of this generation? And what are they like? They are like children sitting in the marketplace and calling to one another, "We played a flute for you, and you didn't dance. We sang a dirge, and you did not weep." For John the Baptist has come, eating no bread and drinking no wine, and you say he has a demon. The Son of Man has come eating and drinking, and you say, "Look at him, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners." Yet wisdom is justified by all her children. The sinful woman forgiven. One of the Pharisees asked to eat with him. And he went into the Pharisee's house and reclined at the table. And behold, a woman of the city, who was a sinner, when she heard that he was reclining at the table in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster flask of ointment, and standing behind him at his feet, weeping, she began to wet his feet with her tears, and wiped them with her hair of her head, and kissed his feet, and anointed them with the ointment. Now when the Pharisees who had invited him saw haste, he said to himself, "If this man were a prophet, he would have known who and what sort of woman this is who is touching him, for she is a sinner." And Jesus answering, said to him, "Simon, I have something to say to you." And he said, "Say it, teacher." A certain moneylender had two debtors, one owed 500 denarii and another owed 50. When they could not pay, he canceled the debt of both. Now which of them will love him more? Simon answered, "The one, I suppose, with whom he canceled the larger debt." And he said to him, "You have judged rightly." Then turning toward the woman, he said to Simon, "Do you see this woman? I entered your house. You gave me no water for my feet, but she has wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You gave me no kiss, but from the time I came in, she has not ceased to kiss my feet. You did not anoint my head with oil, but she has anointed my feet with ointment. Therefore I tell you, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. But he who is forgiven little loves little." And he said to her, "Your sins are forgiven." Then those who were at the table with him began to say among themselves, "Who is this who forgives sins?" And he said to the woman, "Your faith has saved you. Go in peace." Right? And that was one of the Marys, I believe. Okay. I think her brother was Lazarus. Right? Maybe. Right? Mary and Martha and Lazarus. Oh, gets very close to them. So there you go. That's day 11. I'm going to mark that as done. Okay. We will put Centurion. Oops. One of these days. Who am I saying? I'm never going to learn to type. So. Yeah. There you go. And that's today. Tomorrow we'll do Matthew 11 by itself. So there you have it. It's day 11. Getting through the story, right? Jesus is getting along. We're like halfway through his... I think it's been a year. I don't think it's been quite a year and a half in his 3-year ministry, but we're getting there. So we're going through. Catch up with anything I missed and give us a like. Think about it. And we'll do this again tomorrow. See you then.